Alright class, for today's video I want you to get a piece of paper or something to write this down on, and I want you to actually try finding the domain and range. So here's the graph. I want you to find the domain and the range, and then after you've written it down, then click play. So you're going to go ahead and pause the video, find the domain and range on this graph, and then click play, and I'll show you what it is. Alright, so remember, domain, it's our x values. They go left and right. So let's go all the way to the left. I've got -3. And all the way to the right, I've got +1. So my domain goes from -3 to +1. X is in the middle because that's the letter I'm using. Since I have my lowest number over here, it's going to be this less than symbol. And now, -3, there's an open circle, right? So this value would not be considered on the x. But over at +1, this is a closed dot, so this one is considered. So make sure this one gets underlined. Now, when we look at our range from the bottom to the top, so from the bottom here, I've got -4. Remember, with your range, you're just looking on that y-axis. At the top, I've got 0. So we're going from -4 to 0. Our symbols still go like this. Now, here's where some of you might get tricked. At -4, closed circle, so make sure to underline this. At 0, even though over here it's an open circle, over here it's part of the line, so it does get included. So that 0 is also underlined. How'd you do? Good? Alright, let's try another one. This one's going to look a little funny, but once again, just like the last one, write it down on paper, put it on a whiteboard marker, get the domain and the range, and then push play. So please push pause now. Alright, so for the domain on this, remember, domain, you're just looking left and right. So I go all the way to the left, and it lines up with -1, -2. So I've got -2. When I go all the way to the right, it also stops right here. It stops at +1, 2. Remember, domain is the x's. And now on this one, the -2, this one's not included, so it gets an open circle, don't get in a line. Over here at +2, this value is included, so we need to underline this one. Now from range, we go from the bottom to the top. We're just looking at the y values. So the bottom here is at -5. At the top, it goes up to not 5, but 4. Remember, range compares y's. Put your symbol in between. Now, over here, this is part of the line, so it's included. We underline it. Over here, is 4 part of the line, or is 4 not? Since it's included over here, we just need it included once to underline that. How'd you do? Alright, we've got one more. On this one, it looks a little strange, but I want you to try it anyways. Get the domain, get the range. After you have down your answer, then push play. So go ahead and push pause and wait. Alright, so for domain, I'm just looking at the x's. Well, on the left, I have an arrow. It continues. And moving it to the right, it does stop right here at 1, but this part's included and it jumps up here. Well, is my x value still there? Yeah, it keeps going. It stops at 2, but it's included. It goes down, and then it continues all the way to the right. So it continued, and even though there were breaks, it was included here in this break, included here in this break. So my x values is actually all real numbers. Now for my y's, start at the bottom, it only goes down to 0. So 0 is an important number. Now, when I go up, there is a break right here on this side, but are those y values considered over here? Yeah, they fall in, so they're still included. And there's another break right here, but my y values are continuing up here steadily. So since the y values counted over here, we're still going to count them even though there's some breaks. And the y values keep going up, so our y values will go from y and 0, and they're all, 0's at the bottom, they're all greater than 0. Since this is part of the line, include it. Alright, I hope you did well, and I hope you enjoyed the challenge. Make sure to get your homework done.